The referee from the EROLL Spence UGAS fight goes on the defense. In case you didn't know, he's been receiving some criticism due to EROLL Spence losing his mouthpiece. He goes on to say that basically he's been around a long time. He knows the game of boxing. And he said when EROLL Spence mouthpiece came out of his mouth, it's basically at his discretion to pick when is the best time to interfere with the fight so EROLL Spence could put his mouthpiece back into his mouth. He said he didn't want to shortchange UGAS or basically rob him of any opportunities. And he said for the most part, he thinks he's done a good job. Now, I've done a video showing that EROLL Spence's attention and all that was already off before the referee yelled stop. EROLL Spence, as soon as the mouthpiece came out of his mouth, that was his main goal or main importance. You know, as soon as it popped out his mouth, he goes to chasing it. Now, before then, you're still in the middle of a fight, and only the referee can stop the fight. That is something that EROLL Spence knows. And UGAS was on the attack before the referee said anything about stop the fight. But the fact that I think EROLL Spence got hit the way he did and went flying into the ropes, it leaves some EROLL Spence fans feeling some kind of way, as if shit just doesn't happen in the fight. And it does. You know, like I said, I got a video on it, and it'll show you that EROLL Spence's attention span went someplace else, you know, as soon as that mouthpiece came out of his mouth. And just like EROLL Spence said, he made a rookie mistake. The only people that's blaming the referee is the EROLL Spence fanatics, who feel like they just didn't like seeing EROLL Spence pieced up like that. But it's a fight, and the shit's going to happen. Now, EROLL Spence came out and said, you know, it was his fault and it was a rookie mistake. And I think that's basically how people should take it. But we're also getting to the point nowadays where fans are not satisfied no matter what goes on in a fight anymore. I believe you can have a knockout and there's still going to be some controversy. You know, somebody's going to have some cement in their gloves. Somebody's going to have some referees. Somebody's going to, like I said, that's what it's getting down to. It doesn't matter if it's a knockout now. It doesn't matter if it's a split decision. It doesn't matter if it's a unanimous decision. There's always going to be some people that is going to complain and holler and conspiracy and stuff like that. That's where boxing stops becoming fun, because like I said, it's one of the fairest sports in the world. You know, in theory, it's one of the fairest sports in the world. But, you know, we're just in a fanboy era. And I don't think the referee did a bad job. I think he could have stepped in and been a little bit more hands-on, you know, rather than yelling. He could have got in between them or whatever and whatnot. But nonetheless, you know, he's been reffing longer than I've been watching boxing. So for the most part, we would have to kind of take it on that the man knows what he's doing. And like I said, when I looked at the tape, it wasn't the referee's fault that EROLL Spence lost his attention and started worrying about a mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying? That's not the referee's fault. That's EROLL Spence's fault. So it just seems a little overboard that people are attacking him for a fight that EROLL Spence won. And not only did he won, that a lot of people say that he dominated. So if he dominated and if he won and there's still a complaint, that shows you the state of boxing. It's to the point now the fanatics don't even like EROLL Spence being touched in a fight. And that's just sad at the end of the day. I mean, this is boxing. Shit is going to happen. That shouldn't have happened with EROLL Spence, but it did. You know what I'm saying? But it did, and you pay for it. This is why they tell you. This is why the first rule and the last rule of boxing is, no, the first rule and the second rule and the last rule is all the same rule. Protect yourself at all times, number one. Number two, protect yourself at all times. You know, that's how important it is. You know, but if EROLL Spence accepted that and recognized that that was his flaw and that was his fault, then I'm not understanding the problem with the fanatics. I'm really not. The man won the fight. You know, he broke some bones, mangled a face, And yet it's still, there's somebody to point your finger at complaining about what? Okay? How could the outcome be any better than a victory, which Errol Spence has? Like, this era of boxing and this era of fans, I can't even really understand it. But I guess they don't like to see that there's any flaws in Errol Spence, or that he's above making a mistake. Or maybe they just think he's above getting hit altogether. I don't know. I really don't. But honestly, it doesn't make any sense. Because that could be anybody in there. Shit like that can happen. Elbows, low blows, all that stuff. You know, and if we want to get technical on referees not doing their job, and I'm just saying it, and this is just the truth. If they want to be so gun-ho on referee doing their job, in the Sean Porter fight, Errol Spence was supposed to then get called for low blows. They wasn't even calling it. Go back and watch the fight. About 8, 9, or 10 low blows. Okay? And Sean Porter didn't complain once about it. But the point is, if we want refs to be on their job, and if people want to nitpick, you need to nitpick altogether, because Errol Spence was at least supposed to get called out or get more warnings or even a point deducted for the way he was hammering on Sean Porter's nuts. That's real talk. But since we live in a feminine era, this is exactly what goes on. And this is why referees like this have to go on a defense and defend themselves, as if, you know, he has to defend himself from basically casuals who don't know the rules and the ins and out and enough about the sport in the first place. They just concerned with being fans of man. You know, but Errol Spence getting hit was not the referee's fault, as much as people want to put that on him. Like I said, the video's out there. Just go on my catalog. You'll easily see it. You'll easily see his point out. You easily see when it popped out his mouth. Errol went to go follow the damn mouthpiece, and when he turned around, he got pieced up. And to be honest with you, UGAS was a little bit hesitant. He could have really capitalized on what went on. You know? Now, you got people complaining about the mouthpiece, talking about it's the referee's fault. And then at the same time, you got some people saying that UGAS froze and didn't jump on him. So it's, you know what I'm saying, it's a whole bunch of controversy. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, Errol Spence won the fight. You can't get no much better results than that. So what is there to complain about? I have no idea. Bruce Vane, I'm out.